Am I the butthole for not being welcoming to a new neighbor that has made me uncomfortable? Throwaway account. I, 35 female, live in a small condo building in a large southern city. We are all friendly and have spent a lot of time together over the last 10 months. The majority of us work from home and text throughout the day. One owner decided to move out and listed her unit for rent. The following events have all happened with the new tenant. 1. I went to throw away trash in the dumpster outside our building. I discover 2 masked men using a flashlight to look into our utility closet. I ask what they are doing and they advise that they are there to tour a unit and looking for stairs. The utility closet does not look like an entrance, it is covered in lattice, and has no light. I asked them to leave as that was not an entrance. I inform the HOA, we purchase a combination lock for the utility closet. 2. A few weeks later, we are informed that the unit has been rented. I again go to throw away trash and a male, mid-20s, gets out of a car and tells me they are the new tenant and need the code to access the entrance. I told him to contact his landlord for the code. I uncomfortable providing it since I did not know who they were. They proceed to block me and tell me they need the code, they want to move items in, I can trust them, and just give it to them. I am extremely uncomfortable as I am alone in a parking lot with a man that I have told no to, and who is not listening to no. I finally relent, walk to the front door, and enter the code. He commented he wouldn't look at me entering the code since it was such a secret. I ignore his comment, walk away, and inform our text chain of these events. 3. A few days later, at the end of the workday, I get up to close my blinds as it is dark out and my lights are on. This new tenant is standing on the other side of the window staring into my unit. One of my male neighbors has become friendly with this tenant and tells him that I do not like him, and lists the reasons above. This male neighbor has called me a bitch and said I should be friendlier and I am making the new tenant feel unwelcome. I explained that as a woman, this man has made me uncomfortable and I have no obligation to be friendly with him. As he is a tenant, he is not on any HOA emails and should be communicating with his landlord, standard practice in our building for tenants. The female neighbors in the building all agree with me, and have stated my feelings are valid. Our building is clearly divided on this issue, with the men telling the women to be more welcoming, and the women explaining to the men that women do not have to be friendly with anyone that they choose not to be friendly with. I am constantly being told I am being a bitch by the male neighbor friendly with the new tenant. The new tenant has now left a bottle of wine and card at my door and I want to place them back at his door and continue to not communicate with him. Am I being the butthole in this situation? Not the butthole. Here you have a standard clash between women feeling unsafe and men insisting on their right to make them feel that way. Your feelings are valid. Furthermore, you have no obligation whatsoever to be friendly with anyone. The men who are siding with the new neighbor are, collectively, the buttholes. It's telling that they keep calling her about it. Be nice, bitch. Right? Like. If you wanted me to be nice, you probably shouldn't have started by calling me a bitch. The only people who can call me bitch are other women when they're supporting my bitchiness. Op, you might want to use your tongue-twisting tiger's words to the neighbor who specifically keeps calling you a bitch. Reddit link. You are much better than me. I was going to suggest original poster call out new neighbor for still bitching about these events they insist was no big deal. There is that, isn't there? Seems new neighbor likes to cause disturbance in a previously nice building. Yeah, everyone got along till the new person arrived. Now there's issues and the only change in the equation is the new person. So it would be logical that the new person is the problem. I'm sorry, I didn't realize we were supposed to be friendly to each other. I must have been thrown off by the fact that you keep calling me names like bitch. Smile more, bitch. You can run but you can't hide, bitch. NTA. The guy should have followed protocol and went through the landlord, not a tenant. Why wouldn't the landlord have provided that info in the first place? Dude had it but couldn't locate it and literally blocked her in and bullied her, then staring into her window? Total creepy butthole. Op is not the butthole, but this is just another example of women being told to be nice, smile more and just be a good little woman. Feels like there should be police reports made about peeping Tom activity and that the landlord should be told that their tenant is causing problems. Exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, exactly. It's really chilling. I'd be genuinely scared if I was Op. It's like the beginning of an episode of Criminal Minds or SVU. This guy could become violent easily. He's already abusive, rude, and creepy and stalker-like. Why the F do men ignore or shout over us when this stuff happens? We're the ones who end up intimidated, hurt or worse. Not the butthole Op, and get a paper trail going on this guy as well as the other not all men. Why you got to be such a bitch, dudes? Exactly. I'd be paranoid the wine was tampered with. He is being so creepy. I would definitely call the landlord and for good measure install a security system with motion cameras. Document every incident, and if he starts escalating, call police. I'm a true crime junkie, and this pattern of misogyny, bullying, and entitlement is something a lot of predators display. The top comment phrased it best that this butthole is being belligerent about his right to make women uncomfortable, and that's a scary thing. I say F politeness when it comes to creeps. The fear of being rude that is so ingrained in women is the very trait that creeps use to their advantage. You know what really gets me about the window thing? If it had been one of the male tenants who had had a strange man staring in their window, they probably would have gone out their guns blazing. This is an assumption based off of their overall reaction and downplaying it to her. In my experience, those guys will tell women to get over it essentially, but God forbid it happens to them. Even if they didn't go outside to confront the guy, I'd bet good money he wouldn't be a tenant anymore. To be honest, this one has me pretty upset. I am absolutely terrified about the thought of looking out my window and seeing someone looking in at me. I can't think of a place that I've lived where that isn't an intentional act, done for nefarious reasons. Even if he was walking a dog and letting it use the bathroom outside her window, you can tell the difference. But they're all chill that original poster had this happen and is unsafe, when the normal reaction is the opposite of this. It honestly seems like a potential stalker situation. NTA. Especially after leaving the wine, who does that? Maybe you'll be nice to me if I get you drunk. Bitch. No joke. That set off so many warning bells in my head. And of course if she says anything the reply will be, but he apologized and gave you a gift. This is the first thing that crossed my mind. Want me to smile? Say something funny. Want me to be friendly? Be a friend. NTA. They could have at least asked her to smile first. Yeah, I feel like this just revokes any possibility of a future shred of politeness. Call me a bitch? I'll give you the bite and snarls, snaps and barks that goes with it. I'd suggest documenting each and every interaction in case of escalation. No is obviously not a thing that this new tenant understands, and I'd be cautious about him in general. Dude is sketchy as F. Manipulation of the other male residents into hostility with Op. Is such a crap move too. Either isolating and diminution of the concerns of the women is an example of toxic masculinity at best. Predatory at worst. Right? You're telling me the landlord didn't give them any of the codes when they signed the lease? And that he thought it was appropriate to then block you in? Not the butthole. I bet he did have the codes, he just wanted to harass original poster about it because these buttholes thrive on exerting power over women. Exactly what I thought. He saw Op, saw she was alone, probably thinks she's attractive, and that's what he came up with as an excuse to talk with her. But instead of being normal and saying, "Hi, I'm Mike, I'm moving into Unit 26 today, nice to meet you," he had to go and be a creepy jackass. Op is so not the butthole here. Op and the other ladies should turn it around and tell the guys they should quit being a bitch about the situation and learn what no means. Them, probably, shocked Pikachu face. This to me is what I find concerning. My hope is that she presents as mean when she's scared, and these guys are just reacting to the perceived rather than stated emotion. To me she's acting scared and cautious. But context matters, and I can see a scenario where someone with resting bitch face is interpreted by emotionally unintelligent chads as her being mean rather than her being creeped the F out by the dude acting creepy. I'm a guy, and my bias regarding what I find scary is something I have noticed colors my sense of how reasonable someone else's behavior is. She can present mean if she wants to. She has no obligation to be nice to someone who refuses to accept no. I was scared on her behalf just reading this. That sounds terrifying. Absolutely NTA, and all the men saying she should be friendlier should try describing the situation to a woman in their life who will set them straight. Since often men won't care about situations like this until it happens to a woman they feel protective toward. Agreed, so scary. I could, a tiny bit, understand or see why guy was so forceful about the code. He needed to get in, probably could not contact landlord etc. and well, the woman who had the crafty luck to be near was the fastest and easiest way to get there. But standing and looking in the flat? What the actual F? Who does that? Why? I would not effing touch that bottle of wine. I would return it to that friendly neighbor giving tips to the resident creep. And hope he chokes. NTA. P.S. Margaret Atwood has this story. Why do men feel threatened by women? I asked a male friend of mine. They are afraid women will laugh at them, he said, undercut their worldview. Then I asked some women students, why do women feel threatened by men? They are afraid of being killed, they said. Atwood was right on the money with that one. You are not the butthole at all. The behavior of this new renter has definitely been sketchy and I find it to be rather unnerving myself. Your reaction is completely warranted and understandable. You are under zero obligation to be friendly and welcoming to someone that has repeatedly made you feel unsafe in your home. Just imagine your greatest fear from the opposite gender. For one, it is being laughed at, for the other it is being killed. And when people call women bitches for not trusting their acquaintances. Being laughed at and not being trusted are both social rejection, which men consider the worst of the worst. They're willing even to kill to neutralize it. I could, a tiny bit, understand or see why guy was so forceful about the code. He needed to get in, probably could not contact landlord etc. and well, the woman who had the crafty luck to be near was the fastest and easiest way to get there. I can't. I would understand them getting frustrated, driving away, and leaving an angry message on the landlord's voicemail. And I could understand them asking her a few times without making her physically unable to leave. But two men physically blocking her, preventing her from safely returning home, and bullying her into complying out of fear? There is no justification for that. Those are actions that wouldn't even occur to a decent human being, because normal people don't think to block someone's escape and stomp on their boundaries while intimidating them. I would not effing touch that bottle of wine. I would return it to that friendly neighbor giving tips to the resident creep. And hope he chokes. 100%, agree. And then I could buy an extra lock for my door, and one for the window as well. This guy is scary. Edit, fixed a mistake, original poster didn't have a vehicle. Document 2. Original poster should document the wine and behaviors. That will make it easier to go to the police, HOA if it escalates. Man, I would never work with the Southern hospitality thing. Seattle freeze all the way. I don't know any of my neighbors beyond polite nods while walking the dog and I like it that way. Sure, it would make it hard if I wanted to know my neighbors, but it means I'm not pressured to go out and make skeevy neighbors feel welcome when I'm a single female living alone. Damn, frowning face. It's true though, I don't even feel safe taking my dogs out at night anymore. I am constantly scanning the street and hoping they hurry the heck up so we can get back inside ASAP. Heard my doorbell ring at 8 p.m. last night. My front entrance is super dark. Nope. I got tailed once around the park close to my house during one of my runs, and then again the week after. I started running with my Doberman at my side, and gosh, wouldn't you know it, but the stalking abruptly ended. I'm sorry you don't feel the same level of protection. Right? Like so all those men would be fine with some random dude just staring into their windows? Huh, that quote really hits home. Never put it into words and it's pretty true. Thank you for sharing it. I agree with all of this. Return the wine to his door, report any and all interactions in case of escalation and ignore them. You are under no obligation to be nice/friendly to the neighbor in any way and, seeing as he has made you uncomfortable and is conspiring with the other male neighbors, he is definitely suspect. Stay vigilant and safe. Blocking her entrance to her home? I about had a panic attack just thinking about it. You're not the only one. I'm having issues with a male work colleague. Thankfully my boss is great and is taking care of it, and this has just sent my anxiety skyrocketing. Between you and the commenter above talking about this guy peeping inside her window. It sounds borderline criminal/harassment. Forget protective, this guy has straight up shown signs of being over-aggressive and in butthole. I about had one too. I'm a guy, and the thought of someone blocking me from entering my home is terrifying. All the male neighbors' original poster has seemed to be idiots. NTA. But 2 things. 1. Contact their landlord and let them know the weird and creepy crap his new tenants are doing. 2. Just because you are a woman doesn't mean you are socially obligated to be nice to men. All of those effing men think you should be nice instead of that other guy not being a effing creep. How are they going to handle it if that's their mom, their daughter, their wife? And don't get me wrong, they shouldn't have to imagine if it was a woman close to them, they should just effing get it, but they don't. Most men don't get harassed, catcalled, or raped. So they don't know the constant fear and apprehension, even in your own house, that somebody who isn't entitled to your time, attention, or body wants access regardless of what you want. 3. See if you can get his full name and run a criminal background check. This is sketchy-ass behavior, and as he's on parole or probation for certain sex crimes, he has to notify his neighbors. The effing audacity of these men. I'll tell you how they handle it, by blaming said hypothetical woman for dressing/behaving/smiling/whatever in a way so as to invite it. Honestly, you can't win. If you aren't friendly to them, you are told to smile more and be polite. If you do smile at them, it's your fault for being friendly with someone and inviting that to happen. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Damned because you are a lesser being in the eyes of the men who do this. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.